Hello folks, welcome to episode 1 of Versus 5. I am the Custard Prophet and this is my Versus 5 story. If you're not completely clear what this Versus malarkey is all about, down in the description below you will find an introduction video which will tell you everything you need to know. But very briefly, I've invited 10 creators, 5 of whom are representing Team GB, 5 of whom are representing Team Rest of the World. They're playing off against each other 1v1. Each of the creator pairs is undertaking a different challenge at a different club. So there are 5 different clubs that have been selected, and both creators will play one season with the same club, essentially, and whoever gets the most points wins that particular tie. And since this is a Ryder Cup style, each creator will get a point if they win their tie, and the most points overall, either from Team Rest of the World or Team GB, will win the thing overall. Now, I was selected to go in match 4, and Team GB selected Burton Albion as the team that I would be playing. Team GB got 2 selections, Team Rest of the World got 2 selections. Burton Albion are my team, but who am I going against? Well, hopefully you know this already, but if you don't, it is Bobby G Gaming, the absolute legend of a creator who has stopped making content currently, but he has come back for this, and his videos will be, not quite sure in what format, but they will be on my channel going alongside this. So it may be already up. Bobby's video may be already up. So I've been selected Burton Albion, and there's a reason for that, because I am a Burton Albion fan and supported them since I was about 12. Thoroughly enjoyed as a teenager going to the old Eaton Park to watch the Brewers play the Christmas game against Gresley Rovers. It was yeah, good times. Very, very good times. Things have changed since then, as you can see. They've moved up the leagues into the conference, and then eventually promoted all the way through into the championship. Eventually, they got this. They were relegated, as you can see here, in the 2017-18 season, and that was the first relegation they'd had for about 25 years. So it's been a wild ride supporting Burton. First time I went to a game, there was maybe 300 people in the crowd. You go into these championship games, then if you go away to Sunderland, you've got like 30,000-40,000 people in the crowd. So it's a very different experience now to what it was when I was first watching them, and it's a huge privilege to see them rise like this, and to have been there for some of the really big events like promotion to the Football League, which was an awesome thing to see. As you can see, we're on a bit of a slump now. We've dropped down into League 1, and we're going to be taking over the club in League 1, taking over from Jake Buxton after last season, where we kind of finished mid-table with all the COVID shenanigans. Jake Buxton, he came in after Cloughie left, Nigel Clough, and at the start of this season, in reality, didn't do so well. He has been sacked, and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank has taken over, and things are picking up for us again. So that's kind of where things are in real life. But we are using the database back at the start of the season, so we've got all those players that didn't do particularly well for Jake Buxton. It's bizarre, they actually look all right in the game. So let's have a look at the players we've got. Let's have a look at the team, tactic that we're putting out, and the players that we brought in. Let's start with the players in, because I think that makes sense, that you can see who I've actually brought in and who has gone out, and then we'll talk through everything else. So the players who have left, as you can see, there's a bunch of loans who've gone out. These are all youngsters, so that's nothing to worry about. The only 2 signings I've made are Ben Cottrell and Connor Shaughnessy. That's one I can never say. Ben Cottrell doesn't look much of a player, as you can see, 2.5 star player, but he provides an awful lot of quality cover in various places, and actually when he was playing he did a very good job. He's only 18 and he's on loan from Arsenal, but As you can see, you can't actually see in his non-competitive. We had him on trial, and he did really well on trial. So I thought, why not give him a chance? He's fast. He's pretty good with his dribbling. Can't cross so well, but he's got a decent pass on him. So I think he can provide a good bit of cover there, which we do kind of need when you see what tactic we're playing all the way across this area and also here as well. The other player that we've brought in, again, strengthens the midfield, but can also play at the back, and this is Connor Shaughnessy. Shaughnessy, that's it. God, that's such a hard thing to say. So again, on loan from Leeds. I'm pretty sure I've signed this guy a million times for Burton. He never seems to get games wherever he plays, but he's a quality midfielder. He can play anywhere in the midfield, multiple different roles within that midfield. He can tackle and he can also pass. He's got both of those things, but he's also got the ability to play at centre-back if we need him, and we might have to call on him there. So those are the only two players that I've brought in. The only other place I'm trying to bring someone in is at centre-back. I think that is the last place I really need, just to get a little bit more cover. So let's have a look at the team that we've got as a whole. So here we go in the squad depth. So this is the formation we're going with. So we've got 4 at the back, 2 just in front of them. It's a very similar formation to what I'm playing in my Liège save and the Ivory Coast save, but the roles are different and the team instructions are different for this. So what do we got? You can see we're pretty well stocked in pretty much every area, with the exception perhaps of goalkeeper. You can see bringing in the likes of Ben Cottrell provides us with that little bit extra in there, but he can also play in many of these other places. The good thing here is that many of these players are able to play in multiple positions. So the likes of Joe Powell can play both as an attacking midfielder, but also a little bit further back. Let's have a look at the tactic before we just introduce some of the key players within there, and then we're going to play our first game of the season. So the tactic, as we see, looks like this, but let's have a look at what we've got in there. So we are focusing down the wings. We're not going for a direct passing. We're playing shorter passing. Tempo is less than I'm playing in the other save. I'm not playing that wide either. So, but we have got that pass into space on, and that's because we've got our fast players up top. So a lot of instruction aren't on here. If it's a weaker side, I'll chuck work the ball into the box on. If it's a stronger side, I might put shoot on sight on, and that's been a thing that I do most of the time. We are, rather than playing the ball out to the flanks, what I've found is in the pre-season friendlies that actually rolling it out to the fullbacks seems to work a little bit better. So that's what we've been doing, and we are countering when possession has been won. Finally, we have this kind of quite tight team, so everyone's quite bunched up, and this kind of seems to work out quite well. We've got it on a cautious at the moment. We've been playing this primarily on balanced, actually, so that's kind of where that is, but not much else going on here. Pressing is more urgent, but not stupidly ridiculous. So it's a kind of a fairly it's a fairly sort of stripped back wing play formation. Looking at some of the key players within that, and we're not going to go through everybody. You've seen the likes of Shaughnessy. So some of the key players we've got, one of the key players in the whole team is, or probably the key player in the whole team is Lucas Akins. He can play pretty much everywhere on the pitch, as you can see. Very, very strong player. He's been at the club for many years. He's 31. So 6, 7 or 8 years that he's been at the club. 31. Still physically very, very strong. Decent mental stats and really good technical stats, which allow him to do many of these roles very effectively. He can even play in centre-back if required. Hopefully we won't need that, but he is a very, very good player. In the centre of midfield, playing alongside Shaughnessy, we have Stephen Quinn. He is a key player as well for the team. A little bit of a Dennis Wise type figure. Gets into challenges, wins the ball back and then sprays the ball out and finds his man. You can see this determination of 18 really sums him up. His physical attributes are dropping off quite badly, but some of these other things, his mental stats, that sums him up absolutely and completely. He is an absolute little terrier in there, and you'd expect those mental attributes to be fairly high. And technically he is still very, very good, so he's going to be an important player, and managing how he comes in and out of the side is going to be important. Just ahead of them, we've got a couple of options which I think are really good. So we've got Jack Rolls on loan from Tottenham, who I think is a great little player. He is mainly so he mainly can play in this role here, but we are going to be playing him maybe primarily a little bit higher up. He can dribble with the ball. He's a little lad. He's a I mean, I can't remember what that is, but it's maybe 5'6" or something. He's a little lad, but he can pass the ball. He's got a long shot on him, which is kind of nice to have in that position. And despite his size, he's got good strength and stamina, which is interesting. So yeah, Joe Powell, very effective in that position, and probably when he's fit, going to be playing there a little bit more. Maybe not quite as strong as Jack Rolls, but he's fast and he's got many of the attributes. Probably an overall better player, but he is injured at the minute. Up front, we've got a couple of good options in Niall Ennis and Kane Hemmings. Ennis is the one that seems to be better in pre-season, so he's who is going in that sort of one up front role. He's fast. Very, very fast, but he looks good outside of that. So got everything you'd want as a striker outside of that. The difference between him and Kane Hemmings really is that Kane Hemmings looks very, very similar, but he's not quite as fast, but mentally he's probably more rounded. So we'll see how that works. On the left side, we've got Stephen Lawless, decent Scottish midfielder, 3.5 stars. You can't grumble at him. He can play up top. Very, very a very versatile player as well, so he will be playing a lot on that left side and will be making the most of it. So you can see we've got a very good attacking set of players there. And behind that, we've got the like of Indiana Vasislev, Ben Cottrell, who you've already seen, and then players like Kieran Wallace, Ryan Edwards, John Joe O'Toole, Ben Fox, Kieran Gilligan, who are all, and Charles Vernham, who can all fill in many of those positions. So we've got some good cover. A lot of those aren't particularly brilliant, but they will provide decent cover. At the back, and this is where we may be not so strong, the centre-back positions, with the exception of Sam Hughes, who is on loan and is primarily a defender. You can see a pretty good defender at that. Looks mentally very, very strong, and technically he's got everything where you'd want him, and he's pretty strong as well. But the likes of Michael Bostwick, or Michael Paul Trevor Bostwick, I've given him his full name for some reason. He is, a central midfielder or a defensive midfielder by trade, but we don't have an awful lot in terms of backup. So we have a lot of players who are kind of like that, central midfielders turned defenders. So that is a little bit of a worry. Technically very, very strong. I mean, physically not particularly fast, and that's maybe a bit of a problem, but very, very good mental stats to go along with that. So we might actually play him as a ball-playing defender there. And Hughes, who is a lot faster, will let him cover behind him. On the right side, we're going to be playing Johnny Brayford, he's been at the club. He came through the youth system, went off to Crewe, played at Derby, played a bunch of other places, I think Sheffield United as well, and then came back. So he's getting on as well, 32. He's 4-star player, but he's not going to really be the player who bombs on down the wing anymore. He used to be, but no longer. He's actually a very effective centre-back as well, so he may be someone we could bring in there to provide a little bit of backup there. But you see on the alternatives there, on the left side, it's unclear who we're going to have. We've got Daniel there at left back, who is more of an attacking left back. But then we have other options, the likes of Neil Erdley, who can play on the left and the right, who can play there. Reece Hutchinson can play there. Ben Fox, I think he can play on right back. So there's plenty of options that we could use there. And I'm to be fair, not sure who the option I prefer is at left back. That's kind of an ongoing conversation I'm having with my assistant. And goalkeeper, Kieran O'Hara will be the main goalkeeper, but and he'll probably play him as a sweeper keeper eventually. But he has, for some reason, I can't remember why, is suspended for 4 matches, and this is the third of the matches that he's suspended for. So Ben Garrett is the man in goal. He's a backup. What more can I say? Right, so that's the team. That's who we're playing. This is what's happened in pre-season and the first couple of games of the season. So pretty good pre-season. Went very well. I kind of modified the tactic to get to where we've got in a minute. And the first game of the season, home against Derby, we actually played quite well in this game. Had a better XG than them. We didn't see many chances, but our XG suggested that when we were having chances, they were better than Derby's. So to lose it, we're a bit disappointed, and the club wanted us to get to the second round, which we failed to do. Against Cambridge, however, we drew 2-2. This was a much better game, believe it or not. We did win on penalties, but we created a bunch of chances, just didn't put them in the back of the net. And a dodgy penalty for them, and a late goal, which was just a boot up the field. And the worry is Bostwick's turning. He kind of struggled to turn and make and get back and cover, which was the problem we had. So we have to think about how to deal with that. So today we are going to be playing Fleetwood Town. I don't think Joey Barton's still in charge of them. Who's there? No, he is still in charge of them. So Joey Barton's Fleetwood Town. I'm sure when I was listening to Burton's game last night, Joey Barton was there, but I don't know. I'm not gonna try and explain it. So first game of the season will be against Fleetwood, and we'll see how we get on. They want us to move back to a defensive tactic. I don't see why we would do that, to be fair. We've had a couple of games against teams who are in the division below us, away from home. We performed admirably there. We won both of those games, and then we had that game against Cambridge and didn't win that quite as comfortably. But I don't know what that means. Anyway, team that we're going with, we've got Ben Garrett in goal. Johnny Brayford is at right back. We've got Colin Daniel at left back, Bostwick and Hughes in the centre. Then our defensive, or our more defensive two midfielders, we've got Stephen Quinn and Connor Shaughnessy, if I can't remember it. Lawless, Rolls and Akins just in front, with Niall Ennis leading the line. Bench looks good. We've got one too many of these guys, loanies. So Charles Verdham is going to come in. Okay, let's do it. I don't know what this is going to be like. I'm hoping that we can perform well against Fleetwood and get ourselves a win. Don't know how Bobby's going to get on. Last time when we were at Juventus, he went absolutely crazy in the transfer market. I'm quite conservative when I come into clubs initially. I don't tend to make big transfers, so I sort of feel the club out, which is probably not the best tactic for this sort of save, but went all right with Juventus. I got through to the second season with that style of management, and so we'll be looking probably to make some key changes in January. Let's see how we get on. It's nice. First video I ever uploaded was with Burton Albion, my first ever save. That was about 2 years ago, February the 10th, 1999. So it's fun to be back. Right, Edwards, first highlight. Duffy, Cutis. And that's a great start. Barry McKay, there's a bit pinball-y in there, and they have managed to get the goal. So it's 1-0 down right at the start. Not an ideal situation early doors. We need to be doing a bit better. We are having some chances, but we're not seeing any of them yet. Right, we've headed the ball out. Can we win the ball back? That's what we're not doing. We haven't seen much from us yet. Edwards playing the ball around quite nicely, aren't they? Oh my, 2-0. Barry McKay's absolutely tearing us a new one, unfortunately. 2-0 down, right in the first couple of chances we've seen for them. They've not had a lot of shots, but they've made the most of them. Good God, have they? Well, yeah, let's close him down. Close old Barry down. Not particularly great from the boys. Not happy with that. Not happy. It's early days, and I'm not too worried if we can't get something out of this, but I would like to see something a little bit better in the second half. Quinn, all in. There is Lucas Akins with the goal, and we're back in it. It's 2-1. Is there a way back into this game? I mean, Lucas, I told you he was important for this club, and he shows it. He shows it there. I told you Quinn was important to this club, but maybe they should have done a little bit better there. So what we are going to do at this point, I think, is just to hit that shoot on sight button, and we're going to say be more expressive. We've got 55 minutes. I'm going to give it another 5 minutes and then probably make a sub. See if we can get back into this. Apparently Lucas is looking a little bit knackered. Ennis is looking tired or injured. I probably should have done that a while back. So we're going to take off those two. That might be a bit of an issue. But let's go with it. Mark Duffy, he's an expert player. But Colin Daniel throws it in. They have cleared it though. Evans, can we get the ball back off him? That's a terrible ball back to Coots, but they've still got it. They're going to play it long and high. No, they don't. They've lost it. No, how did they keep hold of that ball? There was no point were they near it. Whelan. Oh, McKay. Tack him down. Good God. He's dangerous. I'm going to go attacking at this point. And maybe what we do is we're going to go attacking down this side, and we're going to go... I'm going to go with an inside forward down this side and see how that works. Lawless looks tired. We don't have necessarily everything I'd want on the bench. I mean, Edwards is a decent player as well. I wonder whether that's a good move. I think that is a good move. He's a very, very good Aussie player. We are having a few more chances. Can Jack Rolls play up top? Not really. Let's go a little bit more direct. And we've got shoot on sight on. Yeah, we'll put that one on. And I will go very attacking. See if we can just pick up something right at the end here. It's a 2-1 loss, but I look at that and I think, well, they had a good start and we certainly showed some quality when we came back into it. Some good performances all round. Lucas got himself a goal, which is nice. Decent performance from Bostwick, Quinn and Cottrell. And Cottrell with his 2 stars. That's not bad, and it's good to see that. It's away from home. We were having shots, as you can see. I feel we probably deserved a draw out of that, but we haven't got that. But it's not too much of a worry, I think. I think if we play like that, in general, we are going to be all right. Now, Fleetwood aren't predicted to do brilliant in the league, but they're similar to us, mid-table side. So I think unlucky is the correct thing to say. Be interesting to see. We'll probably end up with different games, myself and Bobby, so it'll be interesting to see how he fares in his first game with Burton. I'm thinking mid-table will be a decent a decent place to finish, and I think we can probably do that probably fairly comfortably. Maybe push for playoffs, maybe what we have to do. But yeah, unfortunately we start with a loss, and we'll see how Bobby gets on, see if he can take an early lead with this Burton team. But I think we will leave it there. Niall Innes is only out for a few days, so we're going to be coming back probably around game day 12, which will be, well, it'll be a few days away, probably sometime in November. You'll get a good idea of how the start of the season has gone for us, whether we need to be worried or not, and hopefully by then, it'll start to shape up how myself and Bobby are getting on in comparison to each other. If you have enjoyed this versus save, please hit a like on this video. Please subscribe if you are new. Make sure you go out and check wherever Bobby's video has been put. I imagine it will be at the same time here. If you don't see it, it's going to be alongside with the wrap up, which will be the end of, which will be midweek. There are also a bunch of other creators who have been putting out content. I think my stuff is coming out last, or equal last. So we've got content that was out on Friday, Saturday, and now on Sunday as well. So go over and check out how the other matches have got on. Okay, guys, well, if you have enjoyed that, hit that like button. Please subscribe if you are new, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.